Welcome to the Life Enthusiast Health Hangout, everybody. Glad to have you along with us again. I'm Scott Patton, one of your hosts, and joining us as usual is Martin Patella, the president of the Life Enthusiast. Hey Martin, how are you doing today?
Doing good, thanks for asking. We also have with us today Sri Ram Kaa, the inventor of the Avesa water system. And Scott?
Yep. Welcome, Sri. How you doing?
Hi, guys. Thanks so much for inviting me to be with you today.
So, Martin, why don't you tell us how you came to meet Sri?
Well,
Sri and I...
there's a dynamic question. Let me introduce the Avesa water system a little bit, because I know that clean, healthy water is something that you all have a passion about. And for those who may not know, I actually live in Guatemala. And I've been down here for about 8 years. And Central America is not known for clean water. There is an abundance of rainfall. However, the municipal systems here do not do a real good job of filtering or cleaning the public water supply. So I was faced with a challenge of wanting to create what I would call perfect water. And this passion of mine has been around for many, many years. I lived in New Mexico for 20 years prior to moving south, and the water quality there was not superb at all. So I needed to find ways to restore water to a healthy, natural state. And that's the key phrase, I think, a healthy, natural state. Because so often our health and our well-being has been compromised by the habit of modern living, by the habit of technological convenience. You know, we go to the kitchen sink and we turn on the tap and this liquid comes out. But we don't really know how good that liquid is. It's just available. And due to the convenience, I think we get a little sleepy about our own health needs, about the quality of the water. And so as I began to investigate the water that was coming out of my tap, I realized that it was dead. It was filled with chemical residues, pesticides, medicines, things that people flush down the toilet. And I realized that the powers that be were not taking care of this, and it was my responsibility once I woke up to do something about it. And that's really what motivated me to begin researching how to clean up water in a cost-effective, simple manner.
Yes, thanks. We actually, Sri and I met some years ago over a conversation about some other energy products. I remember that we talked about the zinc and copper rods that are such wonderful energy treatment, but it's not the topic of today's conversation, so I'm not going to get into that. But what I want to highlight is that Life Enthusiast started with the Twilight America products, where we have been selling the inexpensive, the frills and pearls tools that help people deal with the quality, at least the vibrational quality of the water. But we assume or presume that people will get decent, clean water into the jar in which they're treating it with the frills before they drink it. Here we finally, when Sri described to me the Avesa water system, I was very pleased and excited because it has multiple stages to it. The filtration and the alkalinization and the vibrational clearing, which is very important. Anyway, could you actually tell more about how you came to being this, well, to understand the vibrational issues of life?
Absolutely.
Not just the chemical side of things, but the the life force, the vibrational side of things.
Thank you for asking that. It's a topic that I think is essential for people to comprehend. Water is not just a liquid. Water has a memory. Everything the water has touched makes an impression on that water. Now, this can be downright scary if you really stop to think about it. You know, the water has touched all kinds of contaminated things. We use it for cleaning. We use it for washing. So water has touched solvents. It's touched soaps. It's touched organic waste material. And yet we somehow think that we can just receive that back inside of ourselves without any side effect whatsoever. Well, what I've learned is if you think about the natural process before technology, water would flow down a river, and we'd go and we'd take our container and we'd drink that lovely water, the mountain stream water, and that river water had been bouncing over rocks and pebbles. It had been aerated naturally. The sun had shined down on the water and was doing something. You know, ancient man may not have been aware of it, but the sun was actually cleansing the water. So when you think about when you go hiking and you're up at a mountain stream, and in the good old days we could drink from those streams, and the water tasted beautiful because it had been bounced, it had been aerated, and it had received light. And those simple facts began to inspire me to look at municipal water. How can I restore it back to its natural state? Because the water that is delivered through a metal pipe has been flattened. If you put that water under a microscope, or if you're a competent dowser, you can easily demonstrate that that water is of a lower vibrational quality. It is essentially flat and lifeless, yet it's still wet. It's still H2O, but it has not been fully restored through aeration, vibration, and light. And so the Avesa system that we developed, just kind of jumping ahead, it has 4 distinct filters. The first filter is just to get rid of sediment. All metal pipes contain, you know, iron oxide, and the water coming to you from the municipal system contains little dissolved solids. So you've got to filter out the junk that accumulated from the travel. That's the first step. But the more importantly is filtering out the chemicals. Chlorine is bad for you. To drink chlorine in any amount of quantity is very hard on the system, let alone those things I mentioned earlier, from the dissolved solvents, from rinsing pesticides. You know, people take their fruits and vegetables from the market, they give them a rinse in the sink. What happens to those pesticides? They go right down the drain and they mix in with the municipal water system. So the next filter we have removes all of the chlorine and all of the pesticides. And then we can start doing the magical part, which is running the water through precious stones like tourmaline and ceramic and volcanic material to bring the water back to the memory of nature, of the Garden of Eden. And we literally, our third filter in the system, runs the water through volcanic soil, clean material, and it alkalizes the water, and it begins to lift its vibration. And then we run it through another carbon filter, which leads me to the little magical piece. How do we get the light back into the water? How do we get the aeration effect back into the water? And the way we solved that was by creating a filter that I have called Crystal-Boost. It literally boosts the vibration of the water by flowing the stream over quartz crystals. Now this is pretty interesting because quartz, as you know, is a universally attractive mineral. People love crystals. They don't know why. They just think they're cool. You know, there's an affinity for crystals. And what actually is going on energetically is they're emanating light. Now, the frequency of light from a crystal is beyond the human eyeball to discern, but they are actually emanating light. And so we designed a filter that, I'll hold my hands up here, it's a figure 8 design where the water is forced to go around little round beads of quartz. Then we switch it, and it goes around the other direction. Then it's back to horizontal, back to vertical. So we take the water and we're oscillating it. And that oscillation creates vortexes. And the vortexes bring the life back into the water. So we have the effect of crystals that are vibrating at a love frequency, at a beautiful natural Garden of Eden emanation, spinning the water. And when you taste the water, you will discover what I'm talking about. Everything we've said so far is fun. But when you taste it, you'll feel it in your mouth. It's smooth. It somehow is nourishing, and you can't quite put your finger on it. And when people drink this water, it goes right into the tissues. It hydrates because it has been what we call microclustered. And that's another conversation. But the molecules are actually smaller. So Avesa Wellness Water solves the problem of technology having removed us from the Garden of Eden. It brings the Garden of Eden back to your countertop. It does not require any electricity. Just the flow of the water creates this marvelous effect. And one other little thing, and then I'll turn it back to you, Martin, is that this water is alkaline. Now, alkaline water, as many people, there's a little controversy, but most people agree that we must preserve an alkaline state in our blood. And alkaline water actually stimulates your circulatory system to move the pH over to the healthy side of the scale. So for those of you that have had your sugars and you had your junk food, drinking alkaline water is one way you can compensate. Of course, the best way is to drink alkaline water with a diet of good, healthy vegetables and clean foods. However, an alkaline diet and alkaline water support your health in unseen ways, just behind the scenes, day in and day out. As you drink the water, you'll find yourself becoming more relaxed and more energetically available. Cheers.
So just to riff off on what you're saying about the alkalinity, alkaline also means with excess of electrons. And
yes.
acidic also means lacking electrons or wanting to steal electrons. And the aging process in our bodies is the one of oxidation, which again is the process of stealing electrons. So
Absolutely.
when you drink water that is able to offer you additional or excess electrons, you're returning to the body the stuff that aging robbed it of. So it's a water of life, water of rejuvenation, water of making you at least less stressed than...
Absolutely. No, that's well said and very true. You know, before I developed this system, I actually researched other systems on the market, and I invested several $1,000s for one of those electric water ionizers, and there's lots of them out there. They do a good job of offering alkaline water to the consumer. However, they electrocute the water. They're literally firing a gazillion volts over palladium platinum plates, and they're electrifying the water in order to pull out the alkaline water, and then the acidic water, meaning they split the water into two halves, the acidic water goes down the drain. So they're wasteful and they require electricity, and the memory of the water is zapped. Versus water that has been run over volcanic soil, tourmaline, quartz crystals, carbon material, and has been bounced in a field of light, has that natural quality. It stimulates a DNA memory, in my opinion, to the body saying, restore yourself. Things are back to what the blueprint by which we were designed. And that's really, I think, the goal for all of us, is how do we maintain vibrant health? How do we last as long as our bodies are meant to last, which is a whole lot longer than, you know, the norm out there. We are really designed to have beautiful lives that extend well past 100 years of age. And we need to make choices. We need to be wise and find a balance between the hypnosis and delights of modern living together with ancient wisdom and intelligent application of natural harmonies, natural flow. And that's what I believe we've accomplished with this simple water filtration system. It works. It gives you a year's worth of water for a fraction of the price of importing water. You know, the water, I mentioned I designed this in Guatemala. We were buying 5-gallon bottles of, like your Culligan water, and every country has a water delivery service. I tested the pH of that water, and it's acidic. All bottled water is acidic. Every one I could find. And that, to me, was a huge wake-up call. When we know the difference, it's up to us to take action. You can either bury your head in the sand and say, well, it's a bottle of water and I'll drink it, or you can say, do you have an alkaline version? Do you have a balanced mineral version? And those waters, designer waters they're called right now, they are in the marketplace. However, alkaline water you've got to make yourself, because it will only last for a couple of days once made. So you want to just keep drinking it. You want a system in your home where you can fill up a jug of water and you drink that water throughout the day, you're good. But you can't bottle it and resell it, which is one reason why there's people like you and I that are talking about this. We need a system to support ourselves.
Right. You sent us some technical papers that we could maybe show here on the recording to show people that we have. Well, there are these 4 stages of filtering the water. Yes. You mentioned the first stage, that's essentially turbidity, the mud, getting the spring runoff muck out of the filter. Yep. I mean, out of the water. The second stage would be the taste characteristics, right? Like it's a carbon filter that yes. strips out the chlorines and other nasty things. And then the last stage, currently we're only shipping it with a second carbon filter that does a finer job of removing all the nasty things. But we also are working on making available additional options for people. So in the future, they will be able to inquire with us whether they also have either a fluoridation, how do you pronounce that? Fluoridization problem or arsenic problem. Because people who are on rural wells frequently end up with arsenic problem.
Yes. You know, I was stunned a few years ago reading one of the U.S. papers where the arsenic in the water supply, and I think this was Utah, Montana area, pardon me for not having that exactly pinned down, but the arsenic level was beyond the standards for human health. And so instead of cleaning up the water, the EPA raised the standard. So now the water is permitted. And yet, we know that the long-term effects of drinking those chemicals are negative to our cellular health, to our structure. But we tend to look the other way all too easily. And this is why I have great respect for Life Enthusiast, is every product that you merchandise to the public has undergone your own scrutiny, and it synergizes. We need to take responsibility, and water is just fundamental. That's foundational, along with exercise and eating well. And so I'm really pleased that you've chosen to offer the Avesa Wellness Water System to your clients. And yes, the filters are designed so that we can upgrade and improve. So if you live in an area with arsenic, we can provide you with an additional filter to take care of the arsenic. If you live in an area that has heavy metals, we can provide you with an additional filter to remove that, and same with fluoride. So this is the flexibility of being able to explore and make choices that are fitting for the person. It's not one size fits all. We all know we need clean, high vibrational liquid, and then there are the unique circumstances. In the area where I live, do I need some extra help? Then let's give it to you.
Awesome. The other and even more important part of the story is the affordability. I have had access to osmosis filters and to high-end vibrational filters, but they all come in at about a $600 price point.
Yes.
This Avesa water filter comes at about half that, perhaps even under half that. And that I find so exciting, because most people, well, many of our clients are concerned about affordability. Money is not as abundant as it once was here in America.
Absolutely. There's no reason to spend more than you need to. I mean, let's just get clear on that. If a $300 system will provide you with the results and it will offer you durability, then why spend more? There isn't a good answer to that question. What I did when I designed this is I looked at how can I adapt existing molds and some existing technologies with these more revolutionary thought processes. And that's how we were able to make this system for less than many competitive systems, is we've actually customized some standard types of bits and pieces. And then the factory assembles this so that it has our unique ingredients, but we're not having to reinvent the wheel. So the box, for example, that this sits on your countertop, it looks similar to other products you might have seen, because it's just a lovely rectangular box with a flex tube on the top. I didn't have to reinvent that. I didn't have to buy molds for those parts. I put our investment money into the unique health-giving properties, not the stuff that other people have already figured out. And that's why you're able to merchandise this for far less money. It truly is a system. Well, in my home, I have one in my bathroom and my bedroom, and I have another system down at the kitchen sink. Because when I like a drink of water at night, why should I have to walk downstairs? Why should I have to compromise my health? It's very easy now to afford a system for multiple locations. So we find that most people, after they purchase an Avesa system and get used to the energy they receive from it, because people say, I don't need my nap in the afternoon anymore. I somehow seem to have more go power. And that's due to the alkaline and the microclustering. And so it's easy to have a couple of systems in your home. Once you get that clarity, it's easy to do.
Scott, you're saying, sitting there very quietly, are you just watching us having fun?
Yeah, I am. I'm just totally fascinated by the whole thing, and I was curious if this is something that you just put under your counter in the kitchen sink, or if it's on the countertop, if you've got gravity fed. What does it kind of look like?
Yeah, how you install it would be a good question, huh?
Yes.
So what we provide you with is an adapter to hook into your existing plumbing. Now, for people who want it really easy and really simple, you know how your kitchen faucet has that little screen that you can unscrew?
Yep.
So we give you a fitting that screws onto your kitchen faucet. You take the old one off, put it in your drawer, and you put our Avesa system on that kitchen faucet, and now when you pull the pin out, and I'm sure you've seen this in other designs, you pull the pin out, the water goes from the kitchen tap through the filters and then back out the kitchen tap. And we give you enough beautiful hose so that you can position this at a place on your counter where it won't interfere with you. So that's the simplest installation, and it's portable. If you're in a rental situation, you take it with you. No electricity is needed, it's clean, it's simple. If you would like to preserve your counter space, then we will give you an adapter to go under the sink. But you know where that main valve is, it's a 1/2-inch plumbing valve, and you need to turn off your water main, put the little adapter on. It's real easy to do. It takes 15 minutes with a wrench. And now you can run the tube from under the sink and locate the water filters anywhere you want. Maybe in a cabinet. Maybe you put them up on the wall, and you don't have to use the kitchen faucet. So you have flexibility, either an under-sink version or a countertop version. And we believe this serves the needs of most everybody.
Wonderful. All right. I have no more questions. I'm actually fascinated. I can't wait to try it out.
Well, I encourage you to do that because I'm so used to it. You know, let me just share a little bit. I am an inventor. I hold several patents. And this was my earlier life before I finally just relaxed, let my hair grow, and said I'm living for the joy of living as opposed to living to make a dollar or prove myself in any fashion. And so for my first 30 years of my working career, I invented things. And I made a good living doing that. However, what I learned is that it takes a problem. We have to recognize a problem in order to find a solution. If we don't recognize the problem, then we will accept the impact of unconsciousness. And once we recognize that our water needs to be cleaned up, that our health, our vitality, our ability to sleep soundly at night and to have energy to go through the entire day is based upon what we put into this body. Once we recognize that, take action, make choices. And the water system is a wonderful choice. There are other products that people need for other topics in their life. However, when it comes to water, what I know is this solution really works. It helps people have healthy lives, and it's affordable. So I'm really proud of it. I'm really pleased with what we've created and the synergy with Life Enthusiast to get this to people. Check it out.
I couldn't have said it better. This Avesa water system is on the Life Enthusiast website. If you look at it by brands, you will find the Avesa water. And if you look at it by product categories, look for water treatments. You'll find it there. And if you're having any difficulty with the ordering or need some additional information, just give us a call. We're at 1-866-543-3388. And the website itself, www.life-enthusiast.com. Shri, I would like to very much thank you for taking the time to explain it, and first of all, taking the time to invent it.
Well, truly my pleasure, and much gratitude to you for synergizing with us. We respect you and what you're doing, and I'm so grateful to have this opportunity to share. So thank you for recording this.
Cool. Well, thanks for joining us, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.